Hello and welcome to Live at 5 on Tuesday, September the 12th. I'm Imogen Lloyd-Webber.
I'm Paul Wontorek. Oh my God, you guys, Imogen's here. Hey. It's like a special guest star. I mean, you used to be here all the time.
I used to be here all the time.
But now it's like a special event. Thank you for coming.
This is because we have a very special guest today, and it takes a Brit to talk to a Brit.
I'm not qualified to talk to this guy.
We have Michael Xavier, who of course is starring in Prince of Broadway right now, was in Sunset Boulevard.
Great Broadway.com video blogger.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking to him
awesome.
a bit later on. Yeah.
Cool. But a little bit of news. So last night was the very, very first Cheetah Rivera Awards, which is of course the rebranded Stare Awards, which is honoring the best dancers on Broadway, which is a really cool event, and they really upped it this year. It was at the Al Hirschfeld Theater. They had big numbers and a lot of winners, and Holiday Inn did really well. So Megan Sikora won Best Female Dancer, and Corbin Bleu won Best Male Dancer. Congratulations to both of them. Those are huge honors in this world. Andy Blankenbuehler won for choreography at Bandstand. Natasha Pierre won for ensemble.
Well,
and then there are off-Broadway awards too. So Josh Bergasse won for Sweet Charity. And Lyrica Woodruff of Finian's Rainbow and Brandon Espinosa of Baghdaddy also took home the top off-Broadway dancing honors.
I'm glad that you got to say Corbin's name.
Bleu. Oh, right, yeah.
Because every time I read it, I think it's Corbin Bleu, because it's spelt like the French.
You're classy. She's just too classy.
I'm just saying, I just have a real problem. So I'm very relieved that you ended up doing that piece of news.
You're welcome.
Okay, so my piece of news, Condola Rashad is going to headline St. Joan. She's nominated for 3 Tonys, Paul.
Three-time nominee, yes.
So she's going to star in George Bernard Shaw's classic, 1923 play about Joan of Arc. This is going to be its 8th production on Broadway.
Yeah, it's a classic.
It is. Well, I read it at school. It's fabulous. Directed by Daniel Sullivan.
Did you star in it at school?
No, we just read it in class.
You would have been fantastic. Can you imagine?
There is a reason why I don't act. It starts April the 3rd and then opens on April the 25th at MTC at Samuel J. Friedman Theatre, which is a theatre that our guest today knows very well.
Yes. Would you want to hear a prediction?
Go on.
4-time Tony nominee.
I agree.
I mean, that's a big.
She might win.
This could be the moment.
She might win.
This might be the moment.
She's very regal she's lovely when you speak to her.
Amazing.
But very
we haven't started
regal.
making our charts yet of who's going to win the Tonys. We have to get on that.
We have to get on that.
We have to get on that any minute.
We need My Fair Lady casting first.
Huh?
We can't do that without My Fair Lady casting.
Oh. Well, that we already know. We just can't say yet. You know, right? Oh, we'll talk later.
We'll talk later.
Okay. So you know Mean Girls, the musical, right? Well, there's a Mean Girls play. Did you know that?
You're telling me
I
about
love
now.
this.
Yes, okay.
It's called Schoolgirls, or the African Mean Girls play, and it's actually set in Africa. And I love that this is beating Tina Fey's Mean Girls to the boards. Why not? And Zainab Jah, I hope I said her name right, from Eclipsed, is starring in it, and Myra Lucretia Taylor, who was in 9, the Antonio Banderas production. I remember her from that. She was fantastic. Leading the cast. It starts November 2nd, and this is directed by Rebecca Takeman, who is, of course, a recent Tony winner for Indecent. Thank you so much.
Mr.
And she's also directing Time and the Conways. So
yeah, she's busy.
She's
busy woman.
super busy. I mean, she's like so in demand right now. And this is a really fun. So this is the plot. I think you're going to like this. Yeah. In Schoolgirls, Paulina, the reigning queen bee of Ghana's most exclusive boarding school, has her sight on the Miss Universe pageant.
Okay.
But the mid-year arrival of Erica, a new student with undeniable talent and beauty, captures the attention of the pageant recruiter and Paulina's hive-minded friends.
Well, we love a pageant.
It's going to get bitchy down in Africa.
And you know that Erica Henningsen is playing Katie Heron in Mean Girls.
Oh my God, you're right. Erica, the actress, high concept.
It is.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're right. It's all coming together.
It's all coming together.
It's a whole Mean Girls thing.
So
anyway, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. Some sad news that we do have to talk about. A theatrical giant died yesterday, Sir Peter Hall. He died at age 86, had dementia. He, of course, founded the Royal Shakespeare Company, aged just 29, then went on to direct, was artist director of the National Theatre for years and years and years. And he really was a game changer on so many levels, and is the reason why British theatre is as it is today. So very sad. He won 2 Tonys, one for Amadeus and also for The Homecoming, which of course is by Harold Pinter. So segueing into slightly happier news, Harold Pinter's The Birthday Party is seeing a revival in the West End. It will start on January the 9th and open January the 18th at the Harold Pinter Theatre. Just to keep it all meta there, starring Zoe Wanamaker, Stephen Mangan and Toby Jones.
Great cast.
Great cast.
That's a great cast.
Yeah.
There's a new Patti LuPone album.
I'm glad you got that one to say.
Which we didn't, which none of us knew existed. It's called Don't Monkey with Broadway by Patti LuPone, and it's a live album. She did a concert in Northport, Long Island, which is where she's from, and it's coming out September 29th, and it features 2 discs, by the way. It's like all the hits, and Northport High School Tour Choir is on it with her. And then also, on the site, we talked about the Cheetah Rivera Awards. They did one of my favorite Broadway numbers ever, We'll Take a Glass Together from Grand Hotel. You always hear me talk about Grand Hotel. With Tony Yazbek, who's in a little show called Prince of Broadway, and he hoofs over in that show too. And Mikey Winslow, who is in the cast of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So that video is on the site, and photos from last night, and also photos of the cast of The Last Match, which is the new play at Roundabout about a tennis match. And the actors are dressed appropriately. They look like they're going to the US Open or something in the photos. That starts September 28th. And there's also a new episode of Christy Altomar's vlog, Royal Misfits, episode 4, and this vlog is very big. It's a very big deal. But one thing I want to say, you're going to London.
I'm going to London tomorrow. So Starlight
What's
Express.
happening? Okay, so you know I'm an Andrew Lloyd Webber fan.
Are you really, Paul?
You know I'm a fan
Are you
of
really,
Dad.
Paul Antoric?
Or as we call him,
We
Dad.
call him Dad. We
Sometimes.
call him Dad. I call him Dad.
So you mentioned that there's something going on with Starlight Express.
Starlight Express.
I mean, every show has to come back, right?
Which was written for my brother. And then my mother was like, you can't just do that. So it was then pretended to be written for me too. But no, it was written for my brother. Yeah. Anyway, point being, Starlight Express. You know, like Dad likes to revisit projects and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's revisiting Starlight Express this week. It's workshopping at the Other Palace, which is this venue that he's recently bought, which is workshopping all these shows, and it's all in I think going to be in a black box, so no roller skates.
Oh, thank God, because people start getting hurt once you put them on wheels.
Original creative team there, so Arlene Phillips is there doing her thing, which is still, I think, is doing his thing. So it's very exciting. And apparently, Dad's told me that he's written a girl power number.
Oh.
So I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
You know what song I'm a big fan of?
UNCOUPLED. Sung by Frances Ruffelle.
Yes.
Before she went on to Les Mis and before she won the Tony.
Well, because Dad tends to discover people.
He likes to do that.
But
he might discover somebody in this room over here.
We've discussed this before.
Okay, so before we take a quick break, congrats to Cara Lindsay and Shalina Kennedy, who joined Beautiful tonight. Well, Shalina's done it before, obviously. Yeah. Welcoming back to Will Swenson, who is returning to the role of the very mean, nasty Earl in Waitress. And we'll be right back with Michael Xavier of Prince of Broadway. See you in a bit. Welcome back. I am here with Michael Xavier, Prince of Broadway. Woohoo! How is everything at the Simon J. Freeman Theatre? How's it going?
Pretty incredible.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's we're having a lot of fun playing lots of different roles, and I'm working with the most incredible cast, and then there's a director called Hal Prince, and a choreographer called Susan Stroman, who's pretty all right. They've won a few Tonys between them.
A few Tonys. So
for
those who know nothing about the show, if you've been hiding under a rock, it is, of course, Prince of Broadway is based on the career of Hal Prince, who is behind such small hits as Cabaret, West Side Story. It goes on, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, there is a long list of shows. I didn't realize how many he'd done until I came to do the show, and I didn't realize that he'd won 21 Tony Awards, which is
most
pretty
ever
incredible.
in history.
Yeah. Well, who's going to top that?
How was it to be with Hal in a room directing you?
crazy. Yeah.
Was it an out of sight, out of body experience?
Kind
at that
of,
moment?
yeah. I had to forget that it was Hal Prince as such, and just think, I'm just working with you in the way I work with another director, and just try not to think about the fact that he directed all these greats originally.
And you've got some phenomenal songs on your track, so let's talk me through them.
I do a song called You Must Meet My Wife from A Little Night Music with Emily Skinner. Do that song together.
She's amazing. It's a great duet with pair of you.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Well, they actually threw that in quite last minute.
Did
actually,
they?
Yeah. It was about a week before we started teching at the theatre. Hal came up to me and said, "I think we need another song for you, and I've got a great idea. I've got a great idea," as he says.
With his glasses on.
With his glasses on.
Which is in the show, by the way.
It is.
They have a fun thing.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Oh. Yeah, he came up to me and he said, "Yeah, I've got a great idea. I think we should put this new song in, which will basically act as a kind of vehicle to set up Send in the Clowns," which Emily Skinner sings. And I'd obviously seen the show before, but I didn't really know the song, and it's very wordy.
Yes.
And actually musically quite difficult.
But
That's
hang
not
on
like
a minute.
Stephen Sondheim.
Hang on a minute. You did probably the wordiest Lloyd Webber song, Sunset Boulevard.
Yes.
Because that's Chris Hampton. So I speak to Chris Hampton, and Don Black wrote the lyrics to Sunset Boulevard. And I did say to Chris one day, "Do you remember who wrote what?" And he goes, "Yes." And Sunset Boulevard is basically all Chris.
Right.
So you've got him to thank for that, because obviously he's this very important playwright and won Oscars and things. Yeah. So
that was
you know
hard
how to do it.
Well, actually, it's funny because I did a promo for Sunset, and they gave me a T-shirt to wear, which had all the words Sunset Boulevard, something Boulevard, so in the order that it's done in the show. And I thought this would have been so great if I had that on during the show, because I would have been able to remember them
But
much easier.
during that number of Sunset Boulevard, we will get back to Prince of Broadway. You weren't wearing. They didn't have you in any clothes during that.
Are you going in? Oh, we're going to talk about the swimsuit again.
We're not going
really?
to talk. We're not going to wear the
Really?
swimsuit. I'm just you. You were the one who brought it up
Oh,
that you were going to wear a
you-
T-shirt. I'm just saying you didn't wear any. Anyway, back to Prince of Broadway. Sorry, with your number that got inserted. So during that, you're Bobby and Company.
And Bobby and Company, I get to sing Being Alive, which is one of the best songs ever written. And I get to do a small song called Music of the Night from little show called Phantom of the Opera.
Now you were Raoul. I looked at this in 2006.
I was.
How did it feel
Was
to
it
get
that
the
long ago?
mask? I
2006?
checked. I did
Yeah,
a bit of research
that's right.
today. I try and do my research. 2006. How did it feel to finally get the mask on? Was
Great.
it bizarre?
It's
or
great,
Did you
actually.
just?
I really enjoy hiding my face. It's something really liberating about kind of not really being seen physically, that you feel you can kind of transcend yourself into another character so much easier in that sense.
I thought the audience really connected during that number, and I think for that reason, it was extraordinary. You must feel, it must be interesting to have that every night, to feel that audience.
It is. It's quite
reaction every
amazing
night.
because the way the set's designed here, that they have like a cloth. I don't want to give it away too much, but they have like a cloth in front cloth, and then that comes out, and there's the dry ice and the candles and everything, and you're kind of transported into Phantom, and you sense you can kind of hear a pin drop during that section, and I love that.
And it must be fun doing it with Kaylee, because she was obviously Christine on Broadway.
She was.
So she knows what she's. So that again must be fun. You're in a very safe pair of hands, as it were, with your scene partner in that one.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, obviously I know the show so well, having done it for a year, and it's great to get into the mask and do that role. I've always secretly wanted to play it.
Okay, so do we secret this? Because Norm Lewis spent years saying on Broadway.com that he wanted to be in Phantom of the Opera. Suddenly,
Hi, Norm.
He's then doing Phantom. So is that, cause you are doing a lot of dream roles in this show.
Yeah.
So are there any ones that you would absolutely love to play, for real, as it were? You're doing it for real, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, people always ask that question. What's your kind of what's the favourite role you'd ever love to play? I mean, of course, Bobby and Company would be a great role to play, and I would love to do Phantom, but I always feel like I'd like to do if they kind of revised it and maybe changed a few things and then reopened it. It'd be kind of fun to be the first Phantom as opposed to the 30th.
30th
I believe it's the 30th anniversary.
30th in January.
Right?
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, Alec Black wants to know about your favourite memory from Sunset Boulevard.
My favourite memory. God, good question. There are so many great memories. I had such a great time on that show.
I mean, working with Glenn Close, up close and personal, have been an absolute dream come true.
Probably seeing her sing As If You Never Said Goodbye for the first time in the rehearsal room was probably one of the most special moments.
Chills.
Yeah, me too. I just got goosebumps thinking about it. It was the most amazing. I mean, it was the first time we'd ever seen her perform it, and she gave it everything in the rehearsal room, and it just made everybody up their game. Because I think as well, in Britain, certainly, I feel like we, and I include myself in this, in the rehearsal process, we take a while to find it. We slowly kind of get into the character. We're not too instantly immersed in the rehearsal process, physically anyway. And to walk in and see Glenn kind of hit the ground running straight away. The minute she didn't, I think it was full out, 100%, I thought.
And then sort of a dream come true, I guess, to come to Broadway, because you've had a very distinguished career in the UK, 2 Olivier nominations, and then suddenly, after I guess years in the West End, you're on Broadway, back-to-back Broadway shows. I mean, you probably didn't even have a break, did you, between Sunset and Prince of Broadway?
I had a day off, which was a nice day off.
That must be a dream come true that you got to come to Broadway with that show.
Yeah, it was. And I know when we were doing Sunset in London, they were talking about potential of going to Broadway with it, and it was always kind of talked about on the cards, and then it kind of fell away, and then it came back, and I got to a point where I thought, I'm not going to get excited about this anymore. I'm just going to see if no, exactly. I didn't want to be disappointed, so I just kind of let it go, forgot about it, and then I was in LA, and Glenn rang me and said, "We're going to Broadway," on the phone, and that was how I found out. Well,
Elise has come up with a good question here. How different is being in Prince of Broadway compared to Sunset Boulevard? I would suggest a bigger dressing room, because it's a smaller theatre, the Samuel J. Friedman Theatre. Who are you sharing with at the Samuel J. Friedman?
I'm sharing with the amazing Brandon Uranowitz, who is
he's lovely.
Fabulous. He's lovely and he's fabulous.
He's also smaller, so that there's a bit more space.
There is a bit more space, yes. They had to pair me up with someone a little smaller. Yes. I share with him, and I also with 2 of the swings on the show as well, Eric Santagata and Quentin Lee. But we actually have to do a lot of changing in corridors.
The glamour of Broadway, ladies and gentlemen.
Getting dressed in a corridor. I went from a beautiful, big, luxurious dressing room on Sunset Boulevard to a corridor. But hey, I'm working on Broadway. Who cares?
That's Broadway. Who cares about that? Jared's going to Phantom on Thursday. Have a wonderful time.
Thank you.
Helen Riley, what do you miss most about home? That's a good question. I'm going back tomorrow. Do you want me to bring you any sweeties back?
HP sauce, please.
HP sauce.
HP sauce is the thing to get from London.
But not Maltesers. Well, I guess you don't eat Maltesers and stuff because you're
very
health
good,
nut.
actually. Since Sunset, I'm very wary of eating too much sugar because it goes right there. So.
You've also got to wear your Superman outfit, although you're not in like swimming shorts anymore.
Naked,
you are now in your Superman outfit.
Yeah, I can't have a beer belly with a Superman outfit. I'm not quite, but I do miss home. I miss London, and I'm going back in November.
Natasha wants to know, you're a fashion savvy fella, but what outfit or look is your fave in Prince of Broadway? That's from Tash and Soph.
Oh, hi Tash and Soph. Hi Tash and Soph. They run my Mad About Xavier fan club, so thank you.
Well, thank you for watching.
And what's my favourite outfit? Oh, it's got to be the Superman outfit. Every young kid, well, certainly when I was growing up, every young kid wanted to be Superman, and I did. And to get to be Superman now is super cool. And I get to be nerdy as well with Clark Kent, so that's kind of fun.
That's fun.
And Janet Dacal is playing Sydney in that scene. She's amazing.
She does it so well. Now, Nancy's got a good question here. Saw you in Love Story in Chichester and have followed you since on both sides of the pond. Is a solo album in your future?
I've been talking about a solo album for about 7 years now. I was going to do one about 7 years ago originally, and then it basically, to put an album together, you have to have a lot of time in your hands. You have to have a free window in your diary.
Which you haven't really had for
which I haven't had for a while.
Time.
And you also have to make sure that everybody else that's on board with this particular project has time on their hands as well. So that was the case. We started planning something, and then we all got busy, and the whole thing kind of disappeared. So if there are any big record producers out there who'd like to, take some time out.
You should do a show at 54 Below and do a live album.
that's a good idea.
I don't know,
That's a
just
good
throwing
idea."
it out
Well,
there.
they did
You know,
actually
I'm
ask me to
trying to
do a
be helpful
show at the end of Sunset, but I couldn't because then I went straight into Prince of Broadway. So I will do a show at 54 Below at some point.
Ian is sending hugs from Argentina.
Hi, Ian from Argentina.
We're loving that. Oh, this is a lovely question. So Helen wants to know, do you miss teaching your fab kids back in the UK? So talk a bit about this program, because this is extraordinary what you do.
So my school, my academy in London is called Musical Theatre Masterclass. I miss my students a lot, sending you loads of love.
Didn't you go back to surprise them?
I did. I went back
think
for
we
the
were following
end of
that
the
Twitter journey and then you
Yeah.
got stuck or something.
Oh, getting home was a nightmare. We got redirected because of a storm, and it was a really long journey getting home. I couldn't get my suitcases. I got questioned coming into customs because it was the first time I was going in with my green card, and it was a very long story. The program in London is Musical Theatre Masterclass is a place where I could get together some really great teachers and also people I've worked with and bring them in and train essentially, it sounds cheesy, but the stars of the future. You know, the young kids who are growing up wanting to learn about musical theatre from people who are doing it now, who are in the industry right now and know what it's like.
And probably inspire you on some levels as much as you inspire them.
Definitely.
Because of that enthusiasm, because it's very easy in this industry to get jaded, and you're right on a high right now. You know, 2 Broadway shows back to back.
Yeah.
But you know, that doesn't always happen.
It doesn't always happen at all. It's very rare. And the hardest, I always say to my students as well, the hardest times are when you're out of work. You know, it's riding those lows, because the high times are the best. And the thing for me was I never had any kind of great guidance when I was very young.
So
I wanted
you got
to be an
Liverpool,
actor.
didn't you?
I did originally,
Which is up
and then I
north.
moved to Cheshire when I was 12. And luckily, when I moved to that school in Cheshire, in Knutsford, I had a great acting teacher there, Helen Main. Hi, Helen, if you're watching, who really helped support me and got me into a local amateur dramatics group, and really kind of gave me a bit more support. But we never had support from people who were working in the industry. I never had training from somebody who said, right, listen, right now, this is what's happening. This is what happens in an audition room. Or this is what happens when you go to your first day of rehearsals. I didn't know any of those things, so I kind of learnt the hard way.
What's your top audition tip?
My top audition tip, it's got to be prepared. It's really cliche, but yeah, do your homework. Do your homework. Learn all the material that you're given more than you think you could learn it.
Do you have a go-to audition song?
I used to sing Being Alive. My go-to for a long time actually was Out There, which is a song from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Okay, so you're going slightly, you don't want to slightly obscure, you don't want anyone else to be singing your song.
Well, it's too late now, isn't it? It's
well,
too
they
late.
are now,
Yeah,
but you know what I mean? Is that what you're sort of...
You can have that one. Yeah, all those young guys out there who can sing that. It's a lovely song, though. It's a nice song. What are the songs I sing? Oh, it's been a while. This sounds very grand, but it's been a while since I've had to audition with my own song. Because normally now what happens is they send me the material for the specific show, and I'll learn that and go in, like for Sunset.
What did you sing for Hal?
I had to sing Being Alive and Music of the Night.
Yeah. Because Hal auditions everybody. Like that's a rule. He absolutely does, and he sits there. So that's not at all intimidating.
No, well, actually, the first time I went in, Hal wasn't there.
Oh, okay,
so they filmed it. They
right,
put me on a tape, and then he sent me an email and said, "I'd like to see you, in person."
I like this question from DJ. What's the song you sing in the shower? Or are you all about maintaining? Are you on vocal rest most of the time?
You know what? I don't really sing. People can't believe this, but I don't really sing around the house. I don't generally sing other than when I work. I mean, occasionally.
Are you
I have
saving
done
your? Is that because you're saving your voice? Is
often,
that part
yes.
of that?
Yeah. If I'm doing a show, I won't be like belting something out during the day. But no, I kind of. I don't know. I'll sing like a. I love a bit of Whitney Houston, actually.
Hey.
I'll sing a bit of Whitney Houston. Thanks. Yeah. We got a fan in here. I don't know.
Your favourite number other than your own in Prince of Broadway?
Oh, that's a good question.
Tony Yazbek's big number is pretty spectacular.
If I could tap dance like Tony Yazbek, I would do The Right Girl, which actually wasn't originally created as a tap routine, but Susan Stroman worked it with Tony Yazbek and created this amazing 8-minute tap routine and song, and he is incredible. So it's worth seeing just for that number alone.
There's a lot of love for you playing Phantom, by the way.
Oh, thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Now, dad jokes. How did the dad joke thing start? Because if you follow Michael on Twitter...
I don't know how it started, to be honest. I've always been a fan of really naff jokes. And
do they have the word naff here?
No, they don't. No, you don't understand
naff. No, naff is...
corny,
well
cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Doesn't quite translate in the same way, but
it doesn't,
you know what
does
we
it?
mean.
Yeah, we know. Well, yeah. This is actually a problem when a Brit interviews another Brit. Sometimes slang comes up, and
I know, I'm starting to use American slang.
Have you used the word awesome yet?
But I used to use that before I came to America, yes.
Oh, okay. That's quite an American word, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't know where the dad joke started?
I don't know where they started, but they certainly are not stopping. I love a dad joke.
Okay. I always like to bring it back to the show as a final question. So what do you hope audiences take away with them from seeing Prince of Broadway? Seeing
the work of a man who's been working on Broadway for nearly 7 decades, I mean almost 70 years in the business, having that in one evening of entertainment is pretty magical. And knowing that he was there at the beginning of all these incredible shows that were created. And also you're kind of getting little stories of Hal throughout the night as well, kind of interjected within that in a bit of narration. So it's kind of a bit of an education into Hal himself and his life and his journey as a producer and director over such a huge period of time. It's quite amazing.
Michael Xavier, thank you so much for stopping by live at 5. We will see you tomorrow. Good night.